Hi, my name is Selena.
And my name's Unsol.
And you're listening to Real Talk, where we talk for real about what we think about the most recent movies we've watched.
And TV shows.
That too. So today we're talking about Showing Up, the 2022 film by Kelly Reichardt, was it? I'm not too... Okay, cool. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the movie, it's about this young woman, an artist. Her name is Lizzie, and she lives in this small town in Oregon. She goes to the Oregon College of Art and Craft, and she has a neighbor who also happens to be her landlord, and she has this feud with her neighbor in her head, and they both have art shows coming up, and even though her neighbor is really friendly towards her, the main character seems to take it in a different way, and you basically go through a journey with the main character and how she navigates her personal life with her family and also the other artists around her in this small town. Do you think that covers it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so what were your first impressions of the movie?
My first impressions. Where do I start?
Anywhere.
Well, let's talk about the opening credits.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea.
It starts with these watercolor paintings of sculptures that Michelle Williams' character, Liz, is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Starts out with, I guess, before she actually sculpts with clay.
Yeah, it was clay, I think.
Yeah. Reminiscent of, 6th grade art.
I don't remember doing that in sixth grade. I did that in 8th grade, though.
After you left.
Yes. I also... In 8th grade, when I did do clay sculptures, I made a sculpture of a genitalia. Don't know if I should have shared that, but yeah, and I was, I don't know if popular is the word for it, but it did get some attention, yeah.
What was your model?
No,
I'm suddenly very interested.
Just my imagination. I used my imagination.
Oh, really? I wonder how accurate that was.
Oh.
Do you still have it?
Probably not very. No, we never got it back. Apparently, the box that our clay sculptures were in was infested with cockroaches or something.
Oh.
Yeah. Or that's what they told us. We never got it back. Anyways.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so opening credits. I found it was surprisingly slow. It was one of the longest opening credits I've seen. Don't know if that's what you thought.
Yeah, after a while I was like, is this gonna end? And interesting music?
Music, yeah. I don't even remember the music anymore, and I watched it a few hours ago.
Okay.
Oops.
I don't know what to call it. It was very synthesizer-y, sort of upbeat.
Interesting, I guess, because there's no other music in the rest of the movie, except with the one class where they do the movement and thinking class, and they move to the music, but you might not remember, and it's fine.
I don't remember. Was it flute, by the way? Because I was reading...
Oh, yeah, I think it is.
Okay, I was reading about the movie, and one of the characters, what's his name? The guy with the weird name, something 3000.
Oh, Andre 3000?
Yeah, him. He apparently played flute during the shoot, just for fun, for everyone else, and then at the end, he and the director went out to a field, and she recorded him playing flute. So wow. I think she used that, maybe. We should do more research, but yeah.
That's very cool. I didn't know that. You taught me something today.
Don't you feel like there's been this trend, or maybe it's not a trend, but with A24, where it's credits in art, or some form of
yeah,
physical art they use.
Yeah, like Beef, the limited
Yeah.
TV series. Fresh? I don't know if Fresh was Fresh even A24?
I don't think so.
I think it was Hulu, my bad.
Hulu,
Oops.
yeah. Okay, maybe it's not a trend.
After Yang, definitely.
Did it? Okay. I just remember the dancing, so...
Oh, yeah, the dancing was the opening credits. I did notice, like, there were some interesting, like, camera movements in the opening credits. Like,
Right.
As it was, like, panning across, it, like, zooms in. Sometimes quickly or slowly, I'm not sure, towards, like, the paintings.
Yeah, it felt really freeform to me, and, like, a not official camera operator was doing it, maybe, because a camera operator would be better at actually being exact with their movement, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what I noticed, especially since it was so slow. It was something that stood out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, in other parts of the movie, I wasn't paying attention to the camera movement at all. It was just the opening credits for me.
And I think, like, when I first saw the pictures on the wall, the pictures in, like, the opening credits, because, like, I didn't have context about the movie and what, like, the pictures were, I was, like, trying to figure out what they were. I was like, oh, is someone a designer? Are these, like, design sketches?
Right, same. And the colors definitely stood out.
Yeah, they were cool. Yeah, other than that, I don't have much to say about the opening credits. It was slow and long.
Yeah.
Which some people would describe the movie as.
Yeah. Are you a fan of watching credits in general? Like noticing the names?
Only if they're done in a fun and creative way. I don't know if this counts as that. Do you think it counts as that?
I mean, I don't know. It's subjective, but by putting it in the beginning of the movie, it definitely forces you to watch it.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, I think this opening credit scene felt more like a closing or end credit scene.
Yeah. And then the end credit scene, I mean, should we talk about that now? But it was also...
Maybe later.
I guess we can move on to, like, the actual movie now.
Yeah, I think one aspect of the movie that stood out to me was the tone or mood. Don't know if you have any thoughts about that.
Other than the deadpan humor, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Oh, just like the overall tone of the film, like how you feel while watching the film, or what type of feeling overall the film has. Like, you know, like sometimes the film is tense, other times it's upbeat.
I feel like it's just tense. Like, I can say unequivocally that I was stressed.
Really? Why?
Maybe especially towards the end, but I mean, she's like a neurotic character, Michelle Williams' character, and I could just feel the stress she was feeling, and the pigeon, obviously.
I found it calming. Like, I found the tone to be, like, calming and, like, serene.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's very, like... It's like slice of life, but also the pacing, right? The pacing is somewhat slow, and like the camera lingers for a long time in a lot of the shots. And it's just very calming. And I think there was also a lot of sunlight in a lot of the shots, like outdoor scenes, plus some indoor scenes of her working on the sculpture. Yeah, and people talk slowly, like, and it's like, I don't know.
Maybe it's also the location. You're so used to, like, New York City and New Jersey. So it's, like, the countryside, you know, a little bit less chaotic as well.
Maybe. Are you saying my location influenced my perception of, like, the mood of the film?
Maybe. Or the setting of the movie facilitates what you just said.
The movie actually reminded me a lot of Kogonada's films.
Okay.
The pacing specifically, and that like serene or meditative tone.
I see what you're saying.
I think I see more of Columbus in the film, which I don't think you've seen yet.
Nope. And you know why. I won't say why.
Why?
I'm not gonna say.
Okay, well, I don't know. I don't remember. But okay, I'll find it in our chat history or something.
Mm-hmm.
And in Columbus, it's also about this small town girl in this like outlying town in Columbus, Ohio, Like it's a very like small cast, very like quote unquote small world. Also someone that's trying to like aspire to be something. Yeah, so like narratively and tonally it reminded me of that film. And just like the way it was shot in general.
It's interesting. Mm-hmm. I mean, as someone who doesn't live in the States, all these states, right? Like
they're all the same Oregon to you.
And like just the ones that aren't West Coast or East Coast.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that's why I think it was so similar, because they're both like small town, and even though they're like in different small towns, it felt like very similar.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll just say, beginning of the movie, first thing we see is Michelle Williams, but I didn't recognize her actually.
No, me too. Oh my gosh. Yeah. She is so unrecognizable in this movie.
Yeah, and it's not just the hair. She just seemed so much more youthful, or like her character was younger than I'm used to, because the last thing I saw her in was, I think she's always been a mom. Yeah, The Fabelmans, which I'm not sure which one was shot first, but The Fabelmans where she's a mom, and like, I don't know, The Greatest Showman where she's a mom. What's that movie she did with Casey Affleck?
Manchester by the Sea?
Yeah, that one. Also a mom.
Yeah, she's usually like glowing. She looks better normally, but here like you can see her eye bags. Like no makeup, no filter.
Yeah,
or maybe makeup to make her look more tired.
Yeah, could be. And then eventually I was like, oh, this is Michelle.
Yeah, like when I first saw like posters for the movie, because I've been seeing it around, and I saw the trailer, I had no idea it was Michelle Williams. And then when I was listening to a podcast that referenced this movie and they were talking about Michelle Williams, I was like, huh? She was in the movie? I had no idea. Yeah.
Right.
And she turns out to be the main character.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, the next character we see is Hong Chau's character, Joe. Mm-hmm. I love that shot, actually, of her, like...
rolling the wheel down the street.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And isn't there a thing where, at least in Korea, kids would play with a stick and, like, a wheel and, like, push the wheel down?
I feel like I've seen that, yeah.
And run with it? Yeah. And it just reminded me of that, and how much of a child she is, how playful she is and upbeat. Mm-hmm. Like, from that first scene, it showed that.
Yeah, and I think for, like, the first few seconds, I didn't realize it was Hong Chau. And I thought it was a little girl.
Kid,
yeah.
Wasn't she wearing, like, what do you call those?
Overalls?
Yeah, was it overalls? I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but I thought it was a kid as well, and then you see her face, and it's Hong Chau.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, lately, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Rising up.
Yeah, she is. She's in so many things, so many good work.
Mm-hmm. So, we see this immediate contrast between Hong Chau's character and Michelle Williams' character. Like, the movie constantly kind of compares the two of them, I feel like. In terms of their work, their personalities, their energy, their supposed talent, because... that guy at the art college or whatever this is, art school, who says, oh, I just saw Joe's work and it lifts me up. Whereas, like, for Michelle Williams or Liz's work, he's like, we'll make it work, just bring it.
Yeah, I think that goes to maybe the theme of the movie, which has to do with Liz or Lizzie's, maybe one, insecurity, and two, the imagined rivalry in her head that she has with Hong Chau's character Joe. Yeah, and I think maybe it also just like speaks to the like the artistic temperament or artistic mindset. I mean, I have no artistic work to show for, and I can't relate, and I don't know if this is how someone feels.
Same.
When they create artwork, but it's that constant need to like compare yourself to other artists or other people. Yeah, and like I guess like throughout the movie, Joe seems to have it easy, or it looks like it's easy for her, whereas for like Liz, it feels like she has to put it in a little more effort, or she feels that herself at least. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, and with Joe, she seems to be getting a lot of recognition. She has like 2 shows. She's getting some sort of, I'm not sure what it was, but it was like a special recognition thing from some prestigious gallery.
Whereas with
Lizzie, there's maybe a kind of nepotism situation going on because her parents are obviously artists and her mom maybe runs the school.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, and her dad was also like a pottery, ceramic maker.
Exactly, same thing.
Yeah, and her brother too, Sam, is apparently
supposedly
an artist.
A genius.
Yeah, supposedly.
Also, I mean, the mom's favoritism with the son too, calling him a genius. Yeah, and her it was hilarious. Michelle Williams just sitting there like some other people or what did she say?
So first she was like, I don't know if I would call him a genius. And then she said, a lot of people are creative, when her mom was like, he's very creative.
Yeah.
Do you think he actually is a genius?
I mean, when he was digging the hole and the stuff he was saying was actually kind of mind-blowing, to be honest.
Okay.
When he was like, people like to,
Oh, I remember.
People like to pretend they don't hear or something. What was it?
He was like, oh, you have... He didn't say this exactly, but it's something along the lines of, like, hearing the silence, but people not wanting to hear the silence. He didn't use the word silence, but he said something else.
Oh, you have to listen to what isn't said or something like that. And how, like, the holes he was digging were mouths and everything is earth, everything is nature or something.
Okay.
Maybe he is a genius. I don't know. Or just schizophrenic. Who knows?
Okay, so the mom clearly favors the brother. But I guess speaking of, like, the family dynamics, I feel like the family aspect of the film was the least appealing to me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, whenever, like, family scenes come up, I can feel my, like, head floating away or losing focus. Yeah, but I really like the scenes, like, at the school or when Lizzie is, like, sculpting in her studio.
Family scenes as in whenever one family member interacts with another family member?
Yeah, like when Lizzie first visits her dad or when she first visits her brother. Like, I don't think I cared that much about those interactions. I know those interactions are important, but as like I don't know, as a viewer that has like certain expectations about this movie, like I think I mentioned earlier, for me, like the mood was very like meditative and calming. Like those interactions,
and the family isn't.
Yeah, those interactions basically broke that tone or mood. I think
that was the point, though. Like, every time there was a family interaction, it was stressful or there was some kind of problem, and it was annoying.
You're right. Yeah, it was annoying. But also, like, I don't care about them. I don't care about the fact that they're annoying. But no, you're right. Like, it's there for a reason. But also, I guess, like, even if it was there for a reason, I don't know if it was particularly, or maybe it's just like a taste thing, but I was gonna say I don't know if it was particularly well done, if it like pulled me out of the movie.
Okay, yeah. I didn't have trouble with it, I don't think, but
okay,
that's a valid point.
Yeah, I guess, like, yeah, speaking of like my receptivity towards other scenes over like the family ones. Like, I think, like, one of my favorite scenes was when, like, Lizzie was, like, in the school courtyard and, like, observing the students from the movement and thinking class, when that weird flute music was playing in the background and they were, like, moving their bodies. I don't know what they were doing. Yeah, I found that nice to look at and, again, calming.
If you remember, somewhere in the middle of the movie when Joe comes back with Andre 3000's character at night, and we don't see them, we just see Michelle Williams, and I found it's the only time I laughed out loud in the movie. She just sticks one of her girls onto the pole.
Oh, yeah.
And that just, do you see what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I had a similar thought, but I did not laugh.
What? That's the only time I laughed out loud.
Also, wait, I don't remember Andre 3000 and Joe coming back from.
We don't see them, we just hear them outside, and Michelle is still working. It's still her day off that she took to work on her art, and she's just sitting there, and she hears that going on outside, and Andre 3000 is like, you can look for the phone tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I remember...
Because Hong Chau was like, oh, my phone.
I remember Hong Chau losing the phone, but I didn't realize, like, Andre 3000 was there.
And then, I mean, obviously that implies whatever they're gonna do at night. And then she sticks one of her girls on the pole, and I'm just like, holy shit, that's hilarious.
Oh, okay.
And she was just like, she was so resigned and just like done. I don't know, I found that funny.
Did you find the movie funny?
I feel like if I watched it with an audience, I would have found it funnier, but I wasn't laughing that much. I can see why it's supposed to be funny in some parts, but not really. You?
Yeah, same. I wasn't laughing much or at all. But the one part that I did laugh out loud was when, this is towards the end, when Liz's mom drives over to Sam, Liz's brother's house, to pick him up for the art show.
I think it's Sean.
Sean? Oh, my bad. Oops. Okay, yeah, so she drives over to Sean's house to pick him up and she couldn't find him, but she finds Sean's neighbor, Craig, in the house.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, where's Sean? And Craig was like, I don't know. And then the scene cuts to a shot of the mom with Craig in the car, and I don't know, I just laughed at that. Because she took Craig instead of Sean. I was like, haha, that's kind of funny. Yeah.
Weird. Okay. Any other favorite scenes?
Yeah, I think like in general, my favorite scenes were like the abstract ones or like the more distant ones, like the less personal ones, non-family related. Yeah, I guess I just wasn't invested in the family dynamic.
Okay.
Or the family drama. Even though it's not, I don't know if I should say meaningful family drama or like major family drama, but a lot of it is just like foil for Lizzie's character. Like it says more about Lizzie than anything about, I mean, it does say something about the family, but it's about Lizzie.
It is, for sure.
I guess speaking of it all being about Lizzie, what do you think the movie is trying to say? What is it about?
Well, certainly it's making some sort of statement about the art scenery these days. Because like I did a little bit of research, and the movie was filmed in an old art school that closed down, and
yeah, it was filmed in the former campus of Oregon College of Art and Craft, which apparently closed in 2019, but for the shooting of this movie, they reopened it.
And now it's gonna be a middle school, apparently.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks very spacey and, well, not spacey, it looked small, so I guess it makes sense for a middle school. Yeah, I guess, yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, to some extent it's about, like, being an artist in the art world and either, like, competing in your head with others or yourself. And I think, like, initially she sees a competitor in Joe. But I guess, like, you know, as the title of the film is, showing up, it's also maybe in part, the film is in part about showing up for other people. Also tied to the idea of what goes on in the art world, like how you show up for either, like, your family members, which Lizzie does throughout the film. But in terms of, like, showing up for her peers, like Joe, who initially seemed, or at least in other people's eyes, better than her. She doesn't do that at first, but towards the end, I think at the very end, she has this realization that maybe she should have showed up for Joe, because when Joe had her art show, she wasn't there, but at Lizzie's art show, Joe did show up. Joe showed up with a pigeon that both Joe and Lizzie took care of, and that was kind of sweet. We haven't mentioned the pigeon yet, actually, in this episode.
No, and the pigeon's huge. Well, what do you think the pigeon represents? First of all, what I think is...
Do you want to talk about how the pigeon ties in, like, summarize the pigeon's appearance?
So this pigeon, we first see, I'm not sure if it's the same pigeon, but we first see and hear a pigeon way in the beginning when we see Lizzie working, sculpting. You can hear like a cooing and you see a pigeon or maybe two, but I remember thinking, what, is she working in like a shithole? Why is there a pigeon just... Because, you know, pigeons, rats with wings, all that business.
Well, it was kind of cute in this movie. I mean, I think it's cute.
Yeah, this movie kind of converted me. I think they're cute now.
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
But they're also disgusting. I mean, some pigeons look rough, like they've been on a bender or something. Anyway.
Yeah, some do. But this one was cute. This one was really cute.
Yeah, by the way, in the end credits, you can see, what was it called? I think I wrote it down. Oh, in the end, you can see homing pigeon trainer in the end credits. So there was a pigeon trainer on set, which is not surprising, I guess, but that's kind of hilarious to me that there was a pigeon trainer with his pigeon.
Yeah, hilarious, Pigeons. Like how Liz brought a pigeon to the vet.
Exactly, they're pigeons.
Honestly, I was like dozing off during the end credits, but it's fine.
Yeah, I was quite tired as well. But so this pigeon appears in the beginning, and later on, Lizzie wakes up during the middle of the night to find her cat Ricky mauling a pigeon that has flown into her bathroom, I think. And then she reacted exactly the way I reacted when I found a cockroach in my room.
Oh my god, I remember that.
Yeah. She just like scooped it up on a dustpan and threw it out the window and said, "Go die somewhere else."
Wait, oh my god, that's exactly what you did!
Yeah, I just threw it out the window.
Hell? Okay.
Anyway.
That was rough. I was like, she's kind of mean, but I guess that's what you did too. But like a cockroach is different. A cockroach is not a cute pigeon, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought that line was really funny when she said, "Go die somewhere else."
Yeah,
pigeon.
relatable.
That was a good line.
And then the next day, Joe finds it and says, "Look, I found this pigeon. I think it has a broken wing." And she tries to take care of it. So, like, then she hands it over to Lizzie, who has to take care of it. And it's just a constant presence from then on. And then towards the end, I guess it has kind of a big role. Yeah,
and I guess, like, when Joe first found the pigeon and showed it to Lizzie, it's that contrast you were talking about, right? How Lizzie decides initially to let the pigeon die. She wants the pigeon. Well, I don't know if she wants the pigeon to die, but she threw it out her window. But, on the other spectrum, Joe finds it and takes care of it, and is, like, very gentle towards it. And I think, like, I don't know, like, might show the difference in terms of, like, I don't know if moral conduct is the right word, but...
Well, I think what you're saying actually depicts... I think what you're saying is actually illustrating who they are as people. And I don't think Joe was actually being nice with the bird. She just seemed outwardly nice. But the person who was actually caring for the bird was Lizzie. And so I feel like Joe's character is only outwardly an artist. Maybe not truly an artist. She seems a bit too bubbly for that for me. I'm not sure how you're going to move an audience if you're so bubbly.
Okay.
But Lizzie, on the other hand, is actually taking care of the bird, actually cares if its water bottle and paper is changed, and shows that she's actually genuinely an artist or a good person or a caring person.
No, that's like, that's an interesting thought. I'm not sure if I agree with that, with the fact that Joe isn't a real artist. She's some sort of an artist. But I guess it's because we don't get to see her interior life. Like, it's not from her perspective. Maybe
True.
We feel distant. But I see what you're saying.
I mean, like, if we're doing a tangent about art, the movie certainly made me think about art, and I'm very ignorant. First of all, let me just preface this by saying I know nothing about art. I'm an engineer. Absolutely nothing.
You make art with your nuts and bolts.
Bro.
Shut up. Okay.
First of all, we don't even get to do that, so we're just all theory. We're deriving equations and coding, so no. Anyway.
Theory is art.
Oh, come on.
Okay. Oh, shut up.
Personally, I feel like it's the common, like, tortured artist trope, right? I feel like only tortured artists like Lizzie seems to be, sort of, have something to offer, at least for me, because how are you gonna move me or someone else if your artwork isn't about how shitty life is? I don't know, like...
Sounds subjective. But no, I get what you're saying. Like, even when we see Hong Chau's work or like Joe's work, it's like not on the same level. Even though like the characters in the movie are praising her work, I don't know. When I saw it, I was just like, okay, cool. But Lizzie's sculpture seems to carry more, I don't know, weight or depth.
Yeah, more meaning. Like, when we see that one scene where we see Joe at work with the foam between her legs and she's just, like, wrapping it in wire.
Oh, yeah.
There's, like, no thought behind it. She's just smiling and doing whatever the hell she feels like doing. Like, the lack of deliberation in her movement, kind of.
Oh, maybe that's genius. Who knows?
Oh, come... Yeah, I mean, art. And what is art, anyway?
Yeah, what is art? It's anything you want it to be. Yeah, so I guess, I don't know, like, this is one of those films where I think I like the idea of it, but I'm not sure how I feel about, like, my experience of watching the film. Like, when the credits rolled and, like, after that, I found myself thinking about it, but like, in the moment, I don't think I loved it.
Same. I think maybe a rewatch might change my mind.
Same.
But yeah, initial impressions, not that impressed.
I also watched it during the daytime because time sensitive and we were going to record this podcast. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe that played a role. Maybe if I had seen it like in a theater, I would have been more moved or engaged.
Exactly, same. Not ideal conditions. We work.
Yeah.
I'm doing an internship, by the way, even though I'm a student.
Yeah, we're both
and the time
busy.
zone difference. Yep.
Yeah, for the record, I'm based in like New Jersey, East Coast time. I'm
based in Korea. So there's like what, a 12-hour difference? What time is it there?
11:16 p.m.
Yeah, and it's noon here, so 13 hours. Can we get back to the pigeon actually? Cuz
yes, we can.
Huge deal. Okay, this is my theory. The pigeon is her. It's always stressed and is in constant need of hot water and a change in paper. Kind of like how maybe Lizzie always needs a shower. She keeps saying, I need a shower. Or maybe Lizzie has just made the pigeon into her with her, like, high-maintenance, neurotic sensibilities. And also, what does the pigeon's cooing mean? Because, like, the closing scene is Chau and Michelle Williams walking, and we hear the pigeon cooing. And I don't know, what does it all mean? What do you think?
Wow, no, that's a great theory. I did not think of that. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Michelle Williams being like, change the papers, it gets gross. And also Michelle Williams, I need to shower, I'm gross.
Yeah, and the hot water. And like the pigeon's let go at the end, right? It's free. It had a broken wing, it couldn't fly, and then at the end it's
liberated.
It flies away. Yeah, it's liberated.
Yeah, my thought was more along the lines of how initially Michelle Williams was, she was like distant from the pigeon, reluctant to take care of it, initially throws the pigeon out the window, but then gradually develops like an attachment or connection to the pigeon. It's some kind of device for how we approach people or experiences or like things in the world. At first it's cold, but then you warm up towards whatever it is that is around you. It's it's the way that we develop connections or at least maybe develop inspiration. I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, and I guess to tie it back to the title again, showing up. I don't know, like I guess showing up and being present around something or someone helps with developing that connection.
So different. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like I really liked that part of the movie where she gets attached to the pigeon. That was really warm and nice.
Yeah.
And cute.
The pigeon keeps bringing you back to the movie, I felt like. I don't know, it piqued my interest.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, it definitely piqued mine as well.
Oh, I mean, you're a fan of birds. You have a bird yourself.
Yeah, not with me right now, but my family has it. Yeah, birds are cute. Yeah, so I guess, should we wrap up our thoughts about the film? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Already? Oh, yes, for sure.
Oh, wow, really? Okay.
Vibes. Hello?
Oh, were there?
What? Okay, the interactions between Michelle Williams and that teacher at the school who was looking at the dancing, and was like, I don't know what that class is called.
Oh, movement and thinking.
Yeah. And Michelle Williams replies movement and thinking, and then she brings Janet over to Michelle Williams' show at the end. And Michelle Williams' dad, played by Judd Hirsch, who was also in The Fabelmans with Michelle Williams.
Yeah.
Hilarious character, hitting on Janet. I'm pretty sure they're lesbians, so, like...
Oh, you mean Janet and the other woman?
The teacher of some sort. I think she teaches. For sure they are. And then I got some vibes between Michelle Williams and her as well. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
Huh, okay. I didn't get those vibes from Michelle Williams and her.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot that guest artist's name.
Yeah, me too.
But to me, she just seemed like, hippie and like she slurs her words. kind of like airy.
I mean, definitely everyone there is like a hippie.
That's true. Everyone there is kind of like that. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't translate to lesbian for me, but
okay. No, I was fully getting lesbian vibes.
Okay, cool.
I guess all we can talk about is like the last scene now, and that's it really.
Oh yeah, so the last scene. I liked that scene.
Well, we're at the show now. We're at Lizzie's show, and everyone's there. Everyone's shown up one way or another.
Yeah, everyone showed up.
And there's just so much angst. Like, the family's finally together. It's so stressful. I was so anxious the whole time.
Yeah.
And then there's this bird and these fucking kids.
Dude, when Joe brought the birds in, and because I saw kids in the venue, I knew those kids were gonna mess with the bird. I knew something was gonna happen with the kids and the bird.
I was so scared that the bird would just, like, ruin all the sculptures. Knock them all over. Which, by the way, what is she doing having a cat at her house? Like, the cat's definitely gonna knock over some sculptures, right?
That's true. I guess she does her, like, her sculpting work in, like, the garage, and the cat is, like, not in the garage.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It still made me anxious.
Yeah. Anyways, I thought the kids were gonna, like, choke the pigeon to death or something more gruesome. But they just took off its band-aid, which is better, but it flew away. So, I mean, it was flying around the venue, and then it stopped on the ground. And then Sean walks over and picks it up, walks to the entrance of the gallery, and then sets the bird free.
And then we hear Michelle Williams go, "No, Sean, wait!" But the bird's already flown away, and then she later walks outside looking for the bird with Joe. But then they give up and they walk.
Yeah, I guess they stopped following the pigeon and then they walked together.
And then you hear the pigeon cooing, like, right next to the camera. Yeah, it was a nice ending, whatever it meant.
Yeah, I guess it's not only... The way I saw it was, like, it wasn't only the pigeon who was being liberated, but also, in a sense, Lizzie.
Yeah, for sure. Because Lizzie is the pigeon.
Yeah, exactly. Lizzie is the pigeon. No longer stressed out, no longer insecure. I mean, to some extent.
Yeah.
No longer competing against Joe.
Now healed from the broken wing that's keeping her from
fulfilling her potential.
Freedom. Exactly.
And freedom. And friendship.
Oh, friendship. Right, and friendship, yeah. That's a good point. It's about a lot of things, I guess, this whole thing. Friendship, family, art, fulfillment, life, career, I don't know.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, I guess what happens to Lizzie in the film could also be applied to, like, individuals in other career paths and how they second guess themselves or compete against other people in their field.
Or just feeling stuck.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of feeling stuck, I don't think we talked about, like, the creative process itself.
Yeah.
That was, like, an interesting part of the movie, I thought. Like, we got to see Lizzie carry out the creative process. You know, those very, like, long, drawn-out shots of just Lizzie working with the sculpture. I really liked those. I was, like, very intently looking at Lizzie sculpt her sculptures. Especially that one scene where she cuts off the hands of her, like, dried-out sculpture girl, and then she puts on, like, new hands that are, like, angled in a different way. That was cool to watch.
It was, yeah, actually. I mean, Michelle Williams is the director, right? I haven't seen any of the other movies that Kelly Reichardt has made, but, like, they're all set in Oregon. I think she probably grew up there, and they all represent her, I guess. And it's speaking of her creative process with movies.
I guess it also shows how, you know, the creative process is hard work.
And there's, like, no blueprint, or you don't know what you're supposed to do. There's no obvious...
Even, I guess, like, it's also interesting how I guess we're supposed to be in Lizzie's shoes, but and we also observe other people praise people like Joe, and it seems like Joe has it easy, but I guess maybe that's, you know, there's something behind the scenes that we're not privy to. But, you know, we get that through Lizzie, who doesn't have it easy from what we know. And works hard on her work. She had to take a quote-unquote personal day off from working at the art school to complete her work. And yeah, even like something small like taking care of a pigeon and bringing it to a vet is something that is in her way of completing her work.
Yeah, and how neurotic she is and how that ruins her day. I mean, I briefly thought about Phantom Thread for a second and Reynolds Woodcock. Completely different, obviously, but, you know, artists at work, very
neurotic artists
and sensitive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I kind of related to Lizzie.
Yeah. So often your day is just ruined by something small.
Yeah. So, final thoughts about the movie? Did you think you enjoyed it? Overall, didn't really like it, loved it, want to stew on it more?
It's more like I haven't formed a solid opinion about it. I liked it, but I was kind of disappointed because I'd heard so many good things about it, but maybe a rewatch would make it. Through no fault of the movie and the director and everyone in the movie, it just wasn't for me, at least right now. Maybe if I rewatch it, I'll like it more.
Yeah, same. I felt the same way. I wasn't sure what I thought about the movie. Maybe it's for like a certain time and place.
Definitely better at an art house theater with other people.
Maybe it's just a preference or taste thing.
Yeah, probably.
But I feel like I did enjoy the movie. If I had, I don't know, if I had more patience.
Like under better conditions. Because I also, because of my connection, I started the movie yesterday night, but then I had to continue it the next day, which is not ideal, ever. In the beginning, the first time I was watching it, I was really enjoying it, actually. And then, yeah. Okay, this has been Real Talk with Unsel
and Selena. See you next time.